recent stories, I mean, Puerto Rico was fun. It was the last one where I had some time to see the cities and stuff like that. So I enjoy going places. I just wish I had maybe a day, but then that day's gonna cut into my family time, so I'm like, no. So I live this, what I usually see, like inside cons and cosplay, so I enjoy it though. So,
hi, how you doing? My name is D, been a fan since the beginning. Well, I have two questions. First, how was it to work on Power Rangers? And two, was it hard to get the spot?
hard to get the role?
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking the other day, like, I talked to Tammy too the other day, and our friends, we had this talk. It's interesting when you see someone, when things just start snowballing. You wonder, like, oh, he got lucky, you know, like, but it's not luck. I mean, I read, you know, Kevin Hart's page about his first movie, and they said it was terrible, and you'll never make it, and blah, 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 and he just kept pursuing, and then it just snowballed. The next thing you know, you were, you know, booking big shows, you're doing big things, and people think you got lucky and all that. So to get in was hard, and I wouldn't say it was lucky, it was just the right timing. But I'm gonna tell you all, if you want to act or do stunts or anything else, that if you have that opportunity of the right time, you better have a sharp sword. Because, and what I mean by that is that if you want to act, then you need to train until you get your opportunity. Say, oh, we got a big movie, let's see you do one line and say, you know, oh no, out there. And you're like, oh no, out there. Or you come up and you're like, oh no, out there. Because you're so nervous, you ruined your opportunity and you're done. There it goes, bye-bye. So I say, if you want people to come in, what's it take to be an MMA fighter? I feel like saying, don't talk to me for another 2 years at least. Because train. When you get a fight, you can do it. And I don't mean it's going to take 2 years. Some are just talented kids that come in. But overall, I would, you know, suggest to train. So it wasn't hard. It was just that right timing. And the most thing about working on the show was just getting used to everything being fake. You know, like I'd lean on the command center. I'm like, this is nice. Roll. What? Wheels will be on everything. Everything's fake. And then they do what's called a turnaround. So they'll shoot this way. And then they're like, okay, turn around. Then everybody moves, and then they just turn around the room. So now you're looking at a room that's not even there in the first place, but it's called a turnaround. So everything's just turned around. And then like things slide in, you're standing in the same spot, but it looks like you're standing inside the room. So kind of get used to that, and hitting the buddies, you know, like hitting them. Like, you know, I came in like, boom, bam, and I was like, cut. And I was like, yeah, and they're like, hey man, can you, they didn't go, they talked. It's like, you know, they were talking. I said, hey man, can you toe back a little bit? You know, and I was like, well, how come? The kid's like, it's Hollywood, man. You gotta learn how to punch yourself. And I was like, oh, Hollywood, kung fu. That was not the hardest. And then the hardest part, Kimberly, you really don't love me? That's what and cut. Get away from me.
She was super cute. Hello.
I want to say that I was a Frankenstein monster.
Oh, okay.
And that mask cuts out a lot of my periphery, so all I can hear is, hey, can I take a picture? Hey, and all of a sudden I turn around and it's you.
Oh, yeah.
I got to. But
Did you see it on Instagram? I said, my name is Frank. Yeah, you can pull a picture, yeah.
My question is, I'm just curious, with the Power Rangers movie, the first one, there was such a difference between the suits of the TV show and the suits of the movies. I'm just curious, which was your favorite? TV suits or the...
Man, there's so many talented cosplayers now that can just like kill these suits. The guy in Puerto Rico, he did like this little reboot suit that I posted in Puerto Rico, and everybody loved it. It took him 1 month to build, that was it. The suits, I love the look of them, but they were 50 pounds. They made them out of rubber tires. Like, you don't cosplay, like, you can barely move. Like, so we put them on, and they're super heavy to get on, and shoulders, and they're like, you know, throw a punch. And I was like, yeah, all right, stunt double for this one. You know, so they had to put them on wires just to, like, kick across the sky. I mean, I like the way that the movie suits look. I just didn't like the way, the process it took to get there. Like, the visors out. I mean, we spent millions and millions of dollars. Like, we went into a 2-month shoot, and then they're like, okay, we're going into overtime. I was like, okay, well, this is a movie, it's a business for me, bye, I'm done, because you guys wasted all this time and shot with a different Delcia. Like, I was more frustrated as an actor, because they shot with a different Delcia, they hired one, fired her, shot with a different one, James Mansfield's daughter, shot with her the whole entire scenes, fired her, brought the original Delcia back, and I'm like, millions of dollars later. And then we shot with the visors, and they're like, well, oh, it's fine. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, man. this is stupid. Like, it's just dumb. Like, and so me and Dave was sitting there with our visors out. I was like, hey man, can you recognize me still, or is it like, am I undercover? And he's like, yeah, you look stupid. I said, well, you do too, man. So we had this whole thing downtown and action, and we were doing all this. But the costumes I love, but just the process of getting there. And then on the end of the day, they used everybody they hired in the first place. But, you know, with the actors, they wanted to replace the actors with bigger actors, is what they wanted to do with the movie. And that just, and I was thinking, like, you know, who was going to play me? Because I'd be sneaking in a bush. I'd probably be in, like, stalking charges already. I got to protect my character. But movie costumes were great, but the spandex was just so much easier putting on, you know, so, thanks. But the second movie was all spandex, so that's what we got lazy. And the budget dropped from like 80 million to like 9 million. So.
Alright, what do you, I already saw that you posted that you didn't like the silver lining for Super Mega Force helmet.
Well, that was a Disney thing that they kept missing up on. Disney just, they don't, like, do they ever watch the footage of what they own and say, well, let's make an American costume? It doesn't take that much of a genius to go, that's Japanese footage and we need to make it look like this. So they just painted a whole bunch of stuff on it. And they're like, yeah, that's great. That's why I think they should have fans working on the show. It would be so much better.
So whenever you had that flashback in Dino Thunder, were you getting to the silver lining for the Green Ranger?
Nah, I didn't care because I wasn't having any answers on tour. I wasn't on tour like doing cons. Like I was just like, yeah, that's fine. They're like, what does it look like? I'm like, let's shoot. You know, the stunt guys were all bink, bink, bink. And I was like, I'm not even the same size. Let's shoot. You know. And now I'll be like, hold up, wait a second, because I've learned more now about the show through you guys than I've ever had in my entire life. You know, because I want to learn about the brand of what we do. That's why I try to research a lot of things, you know, like I love watches and shoes, and it intrigues me of like how something got so popular. You know, how do Rolexes get so popular, and why are Rolexes the most ridiculous prices of all times, and why is it the most sought out watch? Is because of the packaging, exactly what they did with the Green Ranger. They only put a few per toy box. Few per you know, in toy box, and everybody, I can't get the green toy. They created all this, and it just, you know, continued that. The gold morphers, they put 1,000 out. Those gold morphers went for a fortune. 24 karat gold morphers. Now I know why Kimberly loved me, because she was a gold digger. She just wanted the gold morphers. Women. And then Catherine was a rebound. All right. What's your question, buddy?
I was just wondering, in Turbo, they released you guys mid-season. Were you guys upset about that? Because I read y'all didn't know that y'all were going to be replaced.
Oh, I'm the one that replaced everybody. It's like, no way, dude. Like, I went in, this is how this went down. I love Saban. It was never about money for me. It still hasn't been. The other actors never met them. So I said, well, I'll go in. I got you, man. I'll go in and I'll get them on set, and we'll have everybody meet everybody. It's going to be a great family reunion. Thank you, Jason. Don't worry. So I went in, and I came out with nothing. Because I went in, and it was like to the point where it's like, we were busy. We're not going to see anyone. I'm like, look, pat on the back was further than anything. And that's all I want in life, is just a pat on the back for saying you're doing a good job. This right here saying, you know, it's good to see you. The wonderful job you do is more than just, well, here's your couple hundred. Just do what you got to do, or there's 1,000. I'll just pay you for it. So I went in, and I said, well, I can't be bought out like that. So I think I'm going to leave the show. And he's like, that's fine. We'll just continue selling with helmet heads, and helmet heads are helmet heads. And he was a businessman, and it was my time to leave and flip the coin. And on the way out, I got told this: if you leave, everyone will be recasted. So I'm going to put that on your shoulders. And went back to the cast and said, I'm not too sure. You all have jobs because I'm not staying here. And they said, what happened? I thought you were going to bring him to set. I was like, yeah, that was plan B. You know, and people say, well, that was silly. I mean, you know, don't you regret it? No, because on the end of the night, I can sleep on my pillow and think that I can never be sold out. That's why I don't get sold out with shows. I will not take an appearance fee. I want to be free. I don't want to have to feel like I have to do this. And Power Rangers was never that feeling of I have to do. When I started the show, when all those three left, it was one of those, let's all band together, and we didn't. It was kind of like, I regret, I resent you for not banding with me, because if we all band together, we all would have made X amount of dollars. I'm fine. I'm happy with what I'll pay you to shoot the show. I love being in the industry of filming, the lights, and I never looked at it for money. And I think that's why I've gone so far. And it's the face of the Rangers, is because I truly, feel passionate. And some guy came out the other day, is like, do you regret, stereotyping you to who you are? I'm like, no. know, how could you regret changing everyone's lives around the world and you become a hero and have your daughter say, you know, you're my hero, and everyone else will say you're my hero? Who really gets that? Who could be a superhero and really just be like, I could be a creator of superheroes like Stan Lee, but I'm a superhero. There's a difference. You know what I mean? A creator created my character, and I'm living the legacy, to a clean legacy, to continue to be a superhero. That's why Saban wants to work with me, is because I'm passionate. And that the question of money is always last. It's not even a question. That's not even an issue. And sometimes in industry, it's the first thing, how much am I getting paid? Do you want to do this appearance? How much am I getting paid? You want to do this con? How much am I making? I started these. I did it my own. I paid my own ways and just, you know, took my chances and believed in you guys. And if I believed in you guys, you believed in me. And we made this become one of the most popular Rangers. I'll show up and I'll have a huge line, and I'm just so blessed. And the same with the reality show. You know, so it was just one of those things. So.
That's what I was talking to them about before you came in, was how you won't take roles where you like tarnish the Green Ranger's image.
I got lots of roles. Trust me, right after Power Rangers, because I was a kid star, I got all these roles. Like, you can work with this girl, you can work, I was like, who cares? I was like, I'm not gonna do that. There was one movie that was like a vampire movie, and everything was all right until like there was like kind of a half-naked girl that I'm eating, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Like, you know, it's just one of those things where you have to understand, it's not just Power Rangers. I'm a role model to thousands of students around the world before I was even a Power Ranger. I'm their sensei. I'm their black belt. Yes, sir, even before Power Rangers started. So, you know, it was one of those things.
When you were doing Power Rangers, was it ever confusing to you to have a character that had your actual name? Did you ever accidentally like turn people's names to their names?
Yeah, well, see, Austin's name was Jason. His real name was Jason. So when I started the show, it was Jason Frank, Jason Geiger, Jason Narby. So he said there's too many Jasons, so he changed his name to Austin St. John. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. No, I just called the stage name. I'm like, well, only strippers have stage names. But whatever. I guess. So he got a stage name. So it wasn't confusing because we were like Austin St. John, Narby, and Tommy is what they called me on the show for that reason. The camera guy, Tommy. Even when I went back to Megaforce, his name's Elon. Love the guy. Worked with him since day one. And going back to Megaforce, I worked with all the original cast. So they all look older, you know, including me. And we're like doing the same stupid stuff that I did 20 years ago. But he'd be like, Tommy, scoot over a bit. Yeah, that's good right there. Tommy, you look good, you know. And to this day, I don't eat bacon because of him. I don't, because we'd have a lunch truck. So we would go get food at the lunch truck. Every time, I like bacon. I mean, I like it. I like it crispy. I like it on my breakfast sandwiches. Every time I'd see him, he'd be like, Tommy, that bacon is no good. It's no good for you. And I was like, okay. So every time I see him, I'm like, dang, dude, I can take my bacon off the sandwich. Do you have bacon on your sandwich? And I was like, no, I don't. So I just got used to not eating bacon, and then I just don't eat bacon. And then my wife, of course, says, everything's turkey bacon. It's like, who in the heck has turkey bacon? How does even turkey bacon exist? But anyway, it's just a story that I've never told.
That's true too. What else is really funny when we were talking is that I said, how many of you feel like, you know, you raised us, you babysat us after school? And like almost everybody in the room raised their hand. It was like incredible. The love in this room is just awesome.
And I still think of you all like kids. Like, you know, it was so funny. I was like with Tammy in Puerto Rico. We were there, and I was like, Steve Cardenas, who was a friend of mine. I'm trying to like, you know, I mean, everyone's mean to me about the whole Austin thing. I hate it. Like, I worked longer with the other guys than I did with Austin. People don't understand that. I came in episode 15, and then when I worked with the other guys, all the stuff you saw was actors over shoulder shots. They were already gone. They would not agree to do the show, so they had to get stunt doubles to do it. So they had to piece it together. So I didn't work with them all that long, but I love Steve. He loves his fans, and I try to help him every time we do something. I'm like, hey, Austin, he's better than this one, and so I try to like, you know, defend him and stuff. But I was with Steve, and I told Tammy, I said, he's a good kid. She's like, he's a kid? And I was like, yeah, when he started, I mean, he was a kid. He just turned 40. He's the same age as me. She's like, why do you call him a kid? I'm like, I don't know. I still think of all you all as kids. That's why I try to create that image of not dropping F-bombs. Don't think I don't cuss at home, because Tammy would be like, they should see you cuss now, you little foul mouth. And so, but Tammy said something on Instagram, so they made that thing where it called her a potty mouth. And potty mouth for Tammy because she says whatever, and I said that in Puerto Rico, and everybody's like, thought I was back. Like, oh, so I was like, potty mouth, potty mouth. I still think of you all as kids, and I think it's important. If I thought of you, I think this is the image you guys need to have. We all accountability partners. I depend on you just as much as you depend on me. If you don't pump me up through the Facebook and Instagram and say, hey man, you're doing a great job, you're a hero, these are things I need to hear in order for me to continue doing what I'm doing. It's not just a one-sided thing. You don't think I get depressed and sad and lonely sometimes? I'll get on Instagram and I'll smile and post back just as much as you do. So the negativity just does not go on my page, especially if I'm like, boosting up Steve and so on, F you, Austin Sanger, delete. You're a D-bag to delete me from delete. It's like I got fans that I need to talk to, but it just overall, it's just life. It's just the way it is. I haven't been able to do tours with anybody. I pre-booked already. I'm already booked for 2015 on the Wizard World tours, exclusively only on Wizard World now.
Awesome.
Yeah, only on Wizard World. I'm not doing any other cons.
That's like 26 days next year.
Yeah, 26 shows, yeah. And I can do as many as I can. I'm going to try to do them. But what I like about Wizard World, and this is just not a Wizard World plug, it's just the truth, is that everything's structured. And in life, we need structure. When you come to karate, you're like, discipline me, structure my life, because we need structure. And that's what I think Wizard World has, is that structure. I know I'm doing a Q&A. I know I have a free karate class. I have a free Q&A. We're not trying to upsell everybody on all the stuff that I'm doing. Everything that we do is a pattern, and it's a set routine, and I love the staff. We've done so many panels together that we just do this. And when I go to a new show, it's, maybe they stand up and they say, you can't take pictures in line. No pit, and I'll stand up and be like, I'll do what I want to do. Pictures are okay. And they're like, that's not acceptable. I'm like, it's fine. So, my booths are loud. A lot of actors don't like it. I understand. It can be annoying. I hear those social media and all the girls, and I was in the green room, I'm like, oh my God, they're so annoying. And someone said, well, now you know what your booth sounds like. But and my booth don't sound like screaming, yay! At least we got, no!
That was so great, because that's so true. That's why you really are a hero.
I like it. You feed off the energy. I mean, who would just sit there and be bored all day? Like, I can't. Like, I give credit to my wife for being married to me for 20 years. Like, I like for her. Like I find myself just joking to myself all the time. Me and Jenna, and she's in the middle, like, and me and Jenna will carry it on and on. Like, you want the last word, or you stink. I don't. Stop. I'm the last one. Like, it'll be like 10 minutes, and Tammy will be like, shut up already. I'll tell Jenna, be quiet. I got the last word. You stink. No, I don't. You don't. So it's just never.
That's so funny. I love it. We actually have, if you can believe it, we have like 4 minutes. So I'm going to take this last question, and then we want to hear where you're going to be, what you're doing.
How's it going? I met you last year at Dragon Con, and I came up to you right when you were about to leave. It was Sunday, and they said, oh no, he's not taking it anymore, and you just gave me a fist bump, and that really meant a lot to me. So you just had reached out, I was like, hey man, give me one of these. I was like, yeah. But
That's what it's worth, though. I appreciate that.
I tell everybody every day. I was like, hey man, he was so cool. Like they were like shooing me away. I was like, no, I can't. He's gotta go. And I was like, he was like, you were like, yo man, give me one of these. And I was like, yeah, see, that's why he's my hero. But I did actually have a question. I just wanted to. But since Lionsgate's doing the new movie, you gonna do a cameo?
I'm probably.
You got it, man. Come on.
No, trust me. Like Saban, they've been really like so helpful to me. Like I'm doing the San Diego Comic-Con, I'm trying to get this Green Ranger series passed. Even if I could do it, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to say, but trust me, I'm in it 100%. And like I called the new producer over there. He's not new, he's just been replaced. One of my good friends been replaced over there, Jonathan, which is like devastating for me because I worked with him for 20 years and he's like my support. Like he'll call me and be like, hey, just let you know, you gotta take this post off, But Chip is also a great guy, but I told him the same stories I'll tell everyone, but it's that never build your budget sheet together and say, well, we got a budget, Jason, I'm there. So you want me, I'll be there. Now everyone wants to be there. Me, pick me, you all had your chance. And you already said no. Now you want me, it's too late. You know what I mean? But let's get a hug, dude, come over here, man.
totally inspires me. In fact, this morning, there's a gentleman sitting right there. I saw him in the elevator this morning.
And he scared you.
No.
Stand up real quick. Let's take a look at you.
Oh, you gotta do this with the head. He was talking about how you signed up when you were 8 years old.
How do you even talk to that?
Yes, Jason Frank signed something for me when I was 8.
Yeah, no, I get a lot of that. Like, you know, man, it makes you time fly when you look at a picture from 20 years ago and you look and, you know, and I looked the other day and it all hit me. I'm doing the same thing I did now as I did 20 years ago. I took all media. I said hello to every kid. That's how I was. That's what I was known for 20 years ago. And it's like I've never said no to an autograph, ever. Except, I've never said no. Except one guy that ran the RangerFaceboard.com. I made up with him, but he was like he was a Tommy hater. And he's like, well, I hate your character. I was like, I was new to the com world. I was like, dang, that's kind of rude, you know. But he just meant in general. And so he's like, can you sign this? I'm like, no. So, well, how come, man? I said, you hate Tommy, so why get it signed? And so he was like, that was the only time. And then I felt bad, and in due time we did. But, you know, even when my brother was in the hospital, man, my best friend lost his arm. My brother was passing away. And just the doctor's like, you know, I got to come here and talk to you. And I was like, oh. And he's like, can you sign this for my kids? I mean, it goes pretty deep, man. Like, you know, and I remember signing in and having a little tear drop on the paper. And I realized then, maybe I look at life a little different. I don't think he meant anything by it because his kids, your kids mean the world for you. And you'll do anything for your kids. And if Dora existed, I'll tackle her down and kidnap her for a day, take her to my house, let Jenna see her, and then, you know, release her. You know, we do anything for our kids. Here's what's going on. I'm going to be at my table most of the day. Francis, we have a photo op today at 5:30. You can hit us up on Facebook. Page or Instagram. We do a lot of stuff there. I care about everything. If you guys order anything, I'm always on there seeing if something's wrong with the orders. I care about you guys, not just as fans or friends, but you guys, you know, if you guys, I'm just a tough believer. If you get something and you're not satisfied with it, then don't just voice your opinion. If you get a steak that you don't like the steak that's cooked that way, let them know you need to cook it a little bit more. But anyway, I know it has nothing to do with my wrap up, but I'll be here. I have a karate class Sunday. It's a half-hour karate class, so they can come. Photo op, Green Ranger photo ops today at 5:30. So you guys can join that. But I just do want to say thank you for everything, and you guys thank you for being a